Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Kara ASMR. Today's video is going to be yet another book tag. I've done quite a few of these in the past, and some of them were interesting, some of them were kind of lackluster. It's okay, I can make fun of myself. Today's tag I think will be very exciting though, because we are going to be doing the 7 Deadly Sins book tag. So though I learned about the 7 Deadly Sins in Sunday school when I was 2nd or 3rd grade I think, I was looking up online and I found that the origin actually comes from one of the first popes. So Pope Gregory I in the late 16th century declared the 7 deadly sins as such: pride, envy, wrath, gluttony, lust, sloth, and greed. So we're going to be taking that and we're going to be making a book tag out of it. The original book tag, I don't remember who created it. If I can find, I will link them in the comment section. But without further ado, let's get on into the tag. So the first question is for greed. What is the most expensive and least expensive books you own? So I get a lot of books free from the library and I can't really put a price on those, so I can't say that a book I have is the most inexpensive because a lot of them are free. However, I can pick the most expensive. The most expensive book I own is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. This I ordered after reading it from the library, and I ordered it from a indie bookstore so that I could have it personalized and signed. So as you can see, I have my name and I have the author's signature. I ended up paying, I think, about $30 to $32 for this with shipping and everything, but it was totally worth it. So the next question is for wrath. Who is an author that you have a love-hate relationship with? Honestly, I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna be afraid to say it. J.K. Rowling. This woman is so controversial and she just gets under my skin and I can't help it. I love the books. Okay, these books are my life. We all know this. The author, however, so there's a lot of reasons that I don't like her and a lot of reasons I find her controversial, but the main ones...
Girl.
So in the past, J.K. Rowling has made transphobic comments, and she hasn't apologized for them, and it's kind of upsetting. You know, you read these books to find diversity and to... I take that back. You read these books to find a way to escape from the life that you have. You look to J.K. Rowling as a hero of your childhood and someone who shaped you into the adult that you are. And then you see her make comments against such a marginalized group, and that kind of crashes. So besides that, she likes to constantly edit these books past publication. And what I mean by that is she has made so many statements on Twitter and in interviews about characters and relationships and the diversity that could have been written in these books, and then, you know, just puts it on Twitter. I get that the books were written in the early 90s, and that wasn't a time where we had diverse characters. However, I think if you didn't write it, don't try to go back and change it years later just to save your skin. If you're a true fan of the Potters, you know that it's something that couldn't have been changed. 90s, there wasn't a lot of diversity, so don't try to make up for mistakes that couldn't be made up for. Also, I feel like she kind of sold out with the 5-film deal for Fantastic Beasts. Personally, and I know a lot of other fans feel this way, that we would prefer a Marauder story or a prequel trilogy or something of James and Lily and Snape and all the other characters before Harry was born. So yeah, I have a love-hate relationship. I love that she gave me these books and she gave the world these books, but her herself is not having it. So the next question is for Gluttony. What book or books have you devoured many times? So the first book that comes to mind is Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. This book, as you can see, has been tapped. It has been ripped. It is fraying at the edges, like the pages are starting to come off this part. Yeah, I've highlighted it. I read this book for the first time my freshman year of high school, and I remember thinking, oh my god, this is gonna change me. I had a friend and we had obsessed over the movie, and she had gotten me the movie and we had obsessed over it, and then she suggested I read the book, and I did, and now I've read it probably a good 15, 20 times. It's uncountable at this point because I just continue to read it. And it's pretty short, so it doesn't take very long. And it's just one of those books I think will always stick with me. Another book is, of course, Harry Potter. I've read all of them multiple times, but this one is the one that I've probably read the most. Sorcerer/Philosopher's Stone. I've read this, I don't know, 10 times maybe? It's up there. This was not the first one I read, surprisingly. If you've seen my Harry Potter sorting video, I actually read Chamber of Secrets first, and I think that maybe, you know, that's why it's up my tops. But I've read this book a lot because I would, as a kid, try to read it, and then I would stop for a little while to go on to the next book, but then I'd come back and reread the book over and over and over, just to try to pick up the series from the start. It also doesn't help that I own the audiobooks and I devour them whenever I have a free chance. The next question is for Sloth. What book or series have you neglected simply out of laziness? I have a couple for this. The first one is Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. The reason I haven't started this, I feel, is because it's kind of confusing. There are so many different novellas and short stories, and I don't know where to start, where to pick up, what ones I can skip, which ones I have to read from front to back. It's kind of confusing. I did see someone had all of them, like I think all 6, maybe it's 7 now, I don't know. And I was gonna get them and just try to read through them, but I don't know if it's gonna be worth it. Let me know down in the comments if you've read this series and if it's a really one to just go with. I've read her husband's books and I love them, but I just don't know if I'm gonna like this. The other series is the Shadowhunter series by Cassandra Clare. This is the first one, City of Bones. I've read the first 5 in the City of Bones, the Immortal Instruments, and then I've read the first 2 in the Immortal Instruments. I like them, and then I stopped reading them, and now I want to read them again. I have them all up here, you can see. However, there's just so many. It continues on, and I get the order of how to read them and everything. I have the ordering list on my phone, but it's just so many, and I don't know if I'm ready for that dedication. My plan had been from June to September of this year, all summer, to try to read the entire series, nothing but the entire series. I'm still thinking of doing that, you know, if the world doesn't die out. That was just a joke. Please wash your hands, stay safe, protect yourself. The next question is for Pride. What book do you bring up when you want to sound like an intellectual? I feel so bad about this, but Le Morte d'Arthur by Sir Thomas Malory. This is a beautiful edition. I got this from an indie bookstore near my house that was selling these along with a bunch of others. There was Grimm's Brothers, there was a few other different ones, but this is absolutely stunning. It is so gorgeous. It's embossed with the gold and the blues. It's beautiful. And the pages are lined with gold. And the print's really tiny, but I like how the chapters are separated out. You have a ribbon here. Yeah, I mean, it's just a beautiful edition. And I've read it, and it's just gorgeous. I bring it up a lot in conversation, not to sound cocky or to sound like, oh, I've read this and no one else has, but it's just a great book. And maybe people like try to say I'm being a douchebag, but I'm really not. It's just a great book, and it kind of does make you sound smart when you've read it. Really, it's just a great story, and I think everyone needs to read it. There are many in here. You don't have to read them all at once. You can go around and read them. King Arthur was written as like a tale of short stories, so you don't have to read all of them in order. They have them printed in this edition in order, but really it's up to you how you read them. So the next question comes from Lust. Ooh. What are some attractive male character attributes that you find? So I can't really pick out just attributes because it depends on the character. I will give you my favorite characters though. So my first one comes from The Knife of Never Letting Go, Todd Hewitt. I love Todd. He is just this little bundle of joy that he's a fighter, and I like that. He fights for what he wants, and he fights for who he loves. When he fights for Viola, find you a man who can fight like Todd, that's all I'm saying. And then Bo from Dumplin' and Puddin'. He's just the country boy you can bring home to your mama, and I love a country boy. Oh, he's so sweet. And the last character is Damon from The Vampire Diaries. He is brooding, he is sexy, and he is the perfect male specimen. Don't at me. This candle I got from a book box I have yet to burn. It just smells so good, and I'm afraid if I burn it, the smelling will go away. So yeah, Damon. And the last question comes from Envy. What book would you most want as a gift? So this isn't hard for me to think about. The one book I really want but will never have is a signed Stephen King book. So when I first started reading Stephen King when I was younger, it was already at the point where Stephen King wasn't signing books anymore. What books he was signing were numbered and were used for giveaways or donations. Honestly, I don't even care what copy it is, I just really want one of his books signed. Maybe one day will come where I'll run into him on the street or something and I can ask him. So that is the 7 Deadly Sins book tag. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what's a book that you shamelessly read over and over. And until next time, please stay safe out there with this virus going around. Wash your hands, cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze, And please stay away from anyone who is sick. If you can't protect yourself, you won't be able to protect others. Remember, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, and you are loved. Bye.